YouTube. John Sarlin for Nightcap here. We got a great show for you today. We do a deep dive into Elon Musk and Twitter. We hear the latest, and then a merger between two publishing giants has been blocked. It's rocking not just the publishing industry, but the business world at large. Click on the chapters below to see the segments. But first, $44 billion and one kitchen sink later, and Elon Musk is now firmly in control of Twitter. Musk has made his presence felt fast, firing the top executives, including the CEO, bringing in a team of Tesla engineers and some Silicon Valley buddies to run the place, tweeting about his future plans. So what is actually going on inside Twitter? Mike Isaac has been reporting on just that for the New York Times. Mike, the news with Twitter is coming like a fire hose right now. Elon Musk says that Twitter will start charging for verification. He's going to start possibly paying creators. He's mulling over plans to restart Vine. What do you think is the most significant move that he's made so far?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's like a bunch of throwing spaghetti against the wall, I think. Right now they're inside furiously trying to figure out basically how to squeeze as much money out of this company as possible. And top priority right now, at least, has been this sort of idea of revamping Twitter, what they call Twitter Blue, which is their subscription service, and ideas to how to make the verification program work, which is the little blue badge thing, or blue checks, as some folks call it on Twitter. And, you know, making that
not actually blue.
Yeah.
White checks.
I had this argument with a colleague. I say blue, he says white. But to charge everyone $8 to get these sort of enhanced features and the blue check, the blue badge that everyone seems to covet, you know. And so his idea is basically turning Twitter into more of a subscription service than an ad-supported platform in the long term. But there's a few problems with that, particularly because of how much of the entire revenue base is based on ads.
Well, let's talk about how he's trying to build it inside Twitter, right? We know that he's pushing this verification plan, and we've all heard the rumors of these mass layoffs coming. We've seen him already fire many top executives, and there have been tweets like this one of employees sleeping at work who are rushing to get Musk's vision out there. It all seems very kind of Hunger Games. What is it like inside the company right now?
I think Hunger Games is pretty right. I was texting with folks last night who, I mean, like the biggest problem for a lot of employees is basically they don't know what's going to happen. And there's no really internal communications that are consistent that are telling them what's going to happen. So, you know, as you said before, the entire C-suite was axed for cause, meaning he's trying to get out of paying them severance. A host of folks left over Friday and Monday at the very top of the company, including Leslie Berlin, their chief marketing officer. And the big complaint is we don't know what they're going to do next. We don't know if we're going to be cut. We don't know if we're going to be what teams are prioritized. There were some numbers floating around yesterday internally that a number of outlets got a hold of. We're sort of trying to double confirm a few things because everything is basically rumors and smoke at this point. But I think people are basically trying to figure out if their jobs are safe, and if so, how hard do they need to work on the products that Elon wants to prioritize, basically.
So next up, let's delve deeper into Elon Musk's reign as chief twit. One of the world's most powerful men is tweeting disinformation, attacking critics and the press, and dictating policy via tweet. Sound familiar? Well, Elon Musk's behavior and the reaction he's eliciting is drawing parallels to President Trump. Oliver Darcy is CNN's senior media reporter. Oliver, you wrote in the Reliable Sources newsletter that there are, quote, echoes of Trump in Elon Musk, specifically in this, that he has filled this void vacated by Trump on Twitter. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Definitely, because I think there's a big question right now at Twitter about whether Trump will be allowed back on the platform, but I think you can make the argument that Elon Musk has really filled his shoes. He has been tweeting quite a bit, as you point out, very similar to the former president, just tweeting at all hours of the day. And he's been doing things that are in line with Trump. For instance, over the weekend, he tweeted this delusional conspiracy theory about the attack on Paul Pelosi. And then when a number of media outlets reported on that, he attacked them in a similar manner to the former president. And I think another thing that's really striking in the similarities between the two men is how they basically aim to govern by tweet. Elon Musk has really just abandoned the formal process when it comes to ruling or governing at Twitter. He's making decisions and just notifying everyone at once when he tweets. You saw that he tweeted, for instance, about the verification process in a random reply. He said that the whole thing is being revamped, and he's tweeted a number of other things. I haven't been or heard from the official Twitter comms department since Elon took over, but he has made a lot of news, and he's doing it seemingly off the cuff on his Twitter platform.
So let's talk about the blue check verification thing. Elon Musk has said he wants to charge $8 a month for it in response to some random person on Twitter. There's been a lot of discussion about this verification thing. Do you think the blue check is a vanity plate, or do you think it's something that's really meaningful to journalists, to advocates? What do you think?
I think it's a bit of both. It certainly has this vanity allure, right? Because Twitter has historically only verified people who are of public interest. So you're talking about top journalists, celebrities, and government agencies and NGOs. But Elon is really, he's proposing shaking this whole thing up. So it's no longer going to be that you're verified for your status in the world. It's going to be that you're verified if you pay him $8 a month. And so I think this is going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to diminish the allure because it's not going to mean you're verified because of your importance in the world. It's going to mean that you're verified because you paid $8 a month. So it's going to have a different meaning altogether. But two, I think it's going to make it much more difficult for people to understand what's authentic and not authentic on the platform. Right now, the Twitter verification badge is a really helpful tool. If you're scrolling through Twitter and someone like Elon Musk tweets something, that blue badge indicating that it's really Elon Musk and not some imposter account can be very helpful. And so when you de-verify everyone that doesn't pay you $8 a month, I think it's going to be a lot more confusing. And when you verify anyone who is paying you $8 a month, it's going to open this up potentially for imposters and others to take advantage of the system. Twitter is a strange platform in that, it's kind of like where people almost issue press releases, right? You have a lot of government agencies and local police departments and fire departments and hospitals which really rely on communicating with the media and the public on Twitter. And so when there's not this way to verify their identity and authenticity, it's going to perhaps create a lot of mayhem on the platform.
So Elon Musk has said that anyone who is deplatformed for violating Twitter rules won't be allowed back on for a few more weeks until there's a clear process in place. That means that no Trump, at least before the midterms. Were you surprised that he made that decision?
I think it's really interesting what Elon Musk is doing. I think in previously, before he owned Twitter, he was just this guy on the sidelines, and it's very easy to be a critic on the sidelines. It's much more difficult when you're the person at the top of the company responsible for all the decisions. And so the most controversial decision, whether Donald Trump is permitted back on the platform or not, you're already seeing him start to distance himself from that decision. So he first tweeted that there's going to be this council that basically determines this. So it's not going to be him, it's going to be this council. So he's already kind of distancing himself from that. And now he's basically saying it's going to be a few more weeks, probably, because there's no council yet and they have to appoint one. But also it's convenient because it does remove the possibility of Trump being back on that platform before the midterms. And you can imagine what a mess that would be with him potentially tweeting conspiracy theories and hateful things in the lead up to a pivotal election.
And we're also seeing some advertisers leave in this debate. It's a lot different to have opinions about free speech. It's another thing when you're running a company that relies on advertiser dollars to fund everything. Definitely, and you can imagine that if you have Trump on the platform, he just sucks all the air out of the platform. And so if he's tweeting, I think it's important to note too that Trump, since he's left office, has become even more unhinged on his own Truth Social platform. He's tweeted racist things, for instance, about Mitch McConnell's wife. And so if you have him on the platform
tweeting this sort of thing and getting all this media attention, and the platform becomes known basically for Trump and his unhinged rants, I think that's going to obviously scare advertisers, which are already a little wary about Elon Musk taking control of the platform and possibly rolling back some of the other guidelines around what's allowed and not allowed on the platform.
Last up, for two publishing giants, a storybook ending isn't in the cards. A federal judge blocked the merger of Simon & Schuster and Penguin Random House in a case that divided the publishing industry. The two companies had said that the deal would have allowed them to cut costs in a stagnant industry. Others opposed the deal, most notably Stephen King. He actually testified in the case, arguing that the deal would hurt authors. After the ruling, he tweeted he was, quote, delighted and that the merger was never about readers, but the company's market share. For the Biden administration, this is a big win. They've been aggressive on contesting mergers and antitrust, and now finally have a paper feather to put in their cap. Here to discuss is Stacy Mitchell, co-executive director of the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, an advocacy organization that challenges corporate power. Stacy, this deal, if it went through, would have meant that two of the largest publishing companies would have merged. What was the reason that the judge blocked the deal?
Yeah, the judge concluded that this was an illegal merger, that it violated antitrust law. And what was really significant about this decision was the argument that the Justice Department made in this case, and which the judge accepted and concluded was true, which was, instead of focusing on whether or not this deal would impact consumer prices, instead the Justice Department said this consolidation among publishers is going to harm authors. We're going to go from 5 to 4 major publishers, and that's going to reduce the competition for books, and therefore authors are going to get paid less. That's really a different kind of argument than we've heard in antitrust cases for about 40 years now. Heavy focus on consumer welfare. Here we had a shift to really looking at how that power in the publishing industry would affect producers and not so much consumers.
Well, let's talk about another giant, which is whenever you talk about the publishing industry, you need to mention Amazon, right? They are the dominant player in ebook sales and physical books. Was Amazon the elephant in the room in this case?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just, it really begs the question. I mean, you think about Penguin Random House, Simon & Schuster, together they publish about a quarter of all books in the U.S. They have a higher market share when it comes to sort of the top selling books. So they do have a bigger market share in that, in the upper 40%, close to 50% range. Nevertheless, it's pretty striking that Amazon controls more than 50% of all book sales. I mean, Amazon is a bigger gatekeeper. And there's actually quite a bit of evidence. The Authors Guild has done some research that shows that, Amazon's dominance in this industry, that they have squeezed publishers and that is ultimately squeezed and reduced author incomes. And also that it's reduced the diversity of books that are making it into print because, those smaller publishers are being squeezed. They have less resources to develop new products and so on. And so the very same arguments that the government made in this case about the two publishing companies apply even more so to Amazon. And so to me, this, decision really raises this question of can we allow Amazon's dominance of the book industry to stand in light of this understanding about what those impacts really are?
That's all from us. Don't forget to sign up for the Nightcap newsletter at cnn.com/nightcap. Join us again next week here at 4 p.m. Eastern, right here at CNN Business. Thanks for watching.